Today we're going to digress from my procession of interviews in this book to talk a little bit about one interview that didn't make it to the book, and back in 1975, and it takes us to my home city of Nottingham. Whenever I think of Nottingham, even now, I think of this. Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, reading man of men. Feared by the bad, loved by the good. Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood. Well, why was I going back to Nottingham? Well, I had a phone call from my mother, a panicking one really, and she said about a company which I knew a great aunt and uncle had owned, called the River Chemical Company, and this was not just in the days of Lincoln Green. I'm wearing green today because it was considered River Chemical Company. It was not very green even in those days to call it that, but it had been called that since the 1920s, and it was about to go down the pan because the great aunt had died. She had been left it by her husband, and it had gone slowly down the pan. And my mother said she had sort of inherited it, and she'd had a phone call from the Midland Bank in Nottingham in the Market Square, and which is a beautiful Market Square, by the way, if you've ever been to Nottingham. In fact, it's a very nice city. And she said that the bank said that they wanted to see a member of the family urgently because they were about to foreclose. And I said to her, well, what's foreclose mean? She says, well, I don't know. But so I got in the car and went to Nottingham, and I was soon to find out. So here I come in, the Robin Hood to the rescue. Taking the money from the rich and giving it to the poor, of course, and all that sort of thing. And I went in to see the bank manager, who sent in this vast mahogany-lined office overlooking the central square, the Market Square Old Market Square in Nottingham, in the Midland Bank. And he sat there behind a desk, and I was ushered in. In those days, bank managers were very intimidating characters. It's like being brought before God. Not that it had been brought before God, but this must have been the next best thing. And I was ushered to a seat. And he sat down, he asked me about myself. I said, what do you do, Mr. Grills? He was a Yorkshireman. What do you do in your life? I said, well, actually, I'm an artist. An artist? Do you sell your work then? I said, well, I sell some of it, but I make most of my money from, because I thought he was interested in the money, which he was. I said, from teaching in art schools in London. Oh, so you don't know anything about business? I said, well, not really, no, I don't. I bought a house in London, which seems to be a good investment. Oh, I see, whereabouts? I said, in Islington. Oh yeah, I think it's going up, isn't it, in value? We're quickly getting on to talk about money, we were. And I said, yeah, I hope so, yes. And he says, well, you've got this company. It's been going since, I think, was it your great? I said, my great uncle started it just after the First World War, I think, and it makes laboratory apparatus and sells chemicals to schools and colleges and, well, all over the place, really. And it hasn't got many employees, about 20 odd, and it's called the River Chemical Company. And he says, it won't be called that much longer. So I said, why is that? Is it changing its name? He says, no, because I'm about to foreclose on it. I said, what's foreclose mean? He says, shut it down. I'm calling in the overdraft. And when that do that, that's it. Unless you've got deep pockets to put some money in to keep it going. So I said, oh, well, I don't really. What should I do about it? Well, it's been left adrift, you see, for years, and we've been very patient. But unless we get some family member on the board who's going to get hold of it by the scruff of the neck, it's curtains. I hate to be blunt, Mr. Grills, but it's curtains. I said, what about all those people working there? Well, they'll be out of work, won't they? Out of a job. So I thought, Robin Hood to the rescue. he says, well, this is the first thing, is you want to give me a business plan. I said, a what? A business plan. I said, well, what's a business plan? He leant back in his chair, took his glass off like this, and he went, oh, my God. Right then. Can you get hold of 3 sheets of paper? I said, yeah. Right. I want you to write to me on the first sheet of paper, write down what the company is doing now. Go and find out what the company is doing now, what it's selling to, how much for. You could just headlines. I don't want all the detail, just headlines. You see the company accounts, how much it's been losing. Write down what it's doing now. I said yes. And on the second piece of paper, you want to write down what it should be doing to make some money and stop losing it. I said, oh, I see. So go through where the money's going out and the money's coming in, and make one more than the other, and the right way around, not the wrong way around. I said, I see. So cut the costs and increase the profit. That's one way. The other way is to increase the profit and keep the costs there, but if you increase them more then. I said, yes, I see. So that's your second piece of paper. I said, yeah. Right. Right. And the third piece of paper? Well, on the third piece of paper, you just need to write down how you're going to get from the first piece of paper to the second piece of paper. I said, is that it? Yep, that's about it. So I said, well, I'll try to make a start. Well, all you have to do is write it out, send it to me, and I'll help you make it. I'll help you do it. I'll help you. And he did help me. Anyway, I stood up, shaking a bit, I was. And I thought, God, I think I've left my car on a parking meter. You know how something thinks of sort of relatively minor things. I do anyway, when I've got some big thing in front of me, so you equal out the pain. And so I went to the door, and as I turned and looked back, I said, thank you, Mr. Chandler, whatever his name was. He said, you're welcome. You come back here with it, send it to me by the end of next week, and I'll hold off on that, we call it the overdraft. I said, all right, thank you. And anyway, as I turned, and I saw his big mahogany desk and him sitting behind it, I saw his feet underneath. And then I noticed on the edge of the desk, just put underneath the desk, just near his feet, was a big glass of what looked like wine or port that he'd obviously pushed underneath the desk before I came in. And that sort of made me, as I walked down the stairs into the market square to the car, it suddenly gave me confidence. Of Liverpool, owned by the bad Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin Hood. Actually, Robin Hood in Sherwood Forest, with his Lincoln Green and everything like that, that film, it was a TV show in the 50s and in the early 60s, I think it was, when we had black and white television, so we didn't see the Lincoln Green or anything like that, we had to assume it. But I thought as a child, oh, that's been made in Sherwood Forest, in Nottinghamshire. It wasn't. It was made in the least likely place you could think of for Sherwood Forest. It was made in the Surrey Stockbroker Belt. By the way, I changed the name of the company to River Scientific from River Chemical Company. So I was green in more ways than one and before my time.